I was living alone for the first time in my life at age 50. I had gotten sober from alcoholism. I had gotten divorced. I was an empty nester. I felt rudderless. As a gift to myself for my 50th birthday, I decided to try 50 new things in my 50th year to determine how I would live the next chapter of my life. Each of these things taught me something about myself, about my comfort zone. I believe that courage is not the absence of fear at all. It's feeling the fear and doing it anyway. So not all of these 50 things are things that I will ever repeat. For instance, I went to an open mic night and belted out a song. Unlike my friend Diane Amelia, I am a terrible singer. My children used to cover their ears when I sang in the car. But I did it anyway. I left the stage to wan applause. Not ever going to do that again. But it helped me feel more comfortable on future stages. From the outside, my life looked pretty great. I was married to a very wealthy man, and I would never have had to work another day in my life. But inside, I felt like I was being stifled, and I was shrinking. I had not grown up wealthy. I grew up in a home with a violent alcoholic father, and childhood sexual abuse is part of my story. I learned in rehab that until I fully processed this childhood trauma, I would never feel fully whole. I was pretending for most of my life that certain things had not happened to me. It was like holding a beach ball underwater. It took a tremendous amount of emotional energy. And I could be triggered unwittingly by someone and lash out at them because they triggered my inner wound. My recovery included therapy, EMDR, journaling, helping other people, meditation, talk therapy, public speaking, and writing. Secrets had kept me sick, and by telling my story, I freed myself. Perhaps the most impactful thing in my year of doing 50 new things was moving to Nepal, high in the Himalayas, 8-hour hike from the closest road. It was starkly and stunningly beautiful. It was so remote that the residents of the village in which I lived had never met a Westerner besides me. I had sold or donated most of my belongings, put the rest in storage, to volunteer at a school in a village called Karnali, which is the poorest region in Nepal. I lived with the family there. No one had electricity or running water. I used an outhouse for 2 months. Yet these people were the happiest people I had ever met. This experience, for me, became an exercise in cultivating gratitude. Instead of focusing on all that I had lost, I was able to focus and appreciate everything I had. By dumb luck of being born in the United States, I have a safety net, as do all of you probably. I know that even if I'm penniless, I will have food, medical care, and clean water. My Nepali community was rich in family, in relationships, in support for each other. They freely shared everything they possessed. They appreciated the natural grandeur of the Himalayas, and they were respectful of Mother Earth. One funny illustration of my increased gratitude from this Nepal experience was, when I came back to the U.S., I was having dinner at not a fancy restaurant. I went into the restroom, and I exclaimed, "Oh my God, it smells so good in here! Paper towels! Wow!" The women in the restroom looked at me like there was something seriously wrong. The wet restroom quickly emptied, and I'm sure they thought that I was mentally unwell.
Of course, we don't have to travel to help other people. We can all bloom where we are planted. But this experience in Nepal taught me so many things that I carry with me to this day. One of these things is that I know that I don't need as much stuff. I practice my own brand of minimalism. For every one new thing I bring into my house, I get rid of, donate, gift, recycle 2 things. I don't need my children to be saddled with my belongings when it's my turn to leave this earth. I learned that I can hold joy and sorrow at the same time. I can ride waves of emotion instead of denying them while searching for the good in any situation. Everything that we focus on becomes magnified in our lives. If I focus on all that I don't have, I will never have enough. I want to spend the rest of my life making this world a better place because I was here. We all can do that. Even small acts of kindness improve this earth. When I walk my dog, I pick up trash. I don't need for people to see that. I sometimes buy coffee for someone behind me. I want to make the most of whatever time I have left here. I learned that by saying no to someone else can sometimes mean saying yes to me. If someone asks me to do something, I ask myself before answering whether it's something I truly want to do, if it's going to bring me closer to the person I want to be or my goals, or if I'm just falling back into people-pleasing behavior. I surround myself with people who encourage, support, and inspire me, like the women of the 333 Collective. I realized that not only was I going to be okay in this new chapter of my life, but I was going to thrive. I could do this post-divorce and even without alcohol to numb me. I now have 13 years sober. And these hardships were not for naught because I can use them to help other people not feel so alone. Sometimes the women that I sponsor in my 12-step program will open up to me because they know that I've gone, as the previous speaker said, "You too?" Yes, me too. I returned to the U.S. fundamentally changed. I was emboldened to try new ventures. I wrote a book about my 50 new experiences. I did 2 TEDx talks. I started my own podcast called Becoming Your Best Version. And many of the women in this room have actually been on that podcast. In midlife, I am acutely aware that I have lived more of my life than I have ahead of me. So I want to make every moment count. I learned to drop the rocks of self-judgment and care so much about the judgment of other people. I learned that helping other people can get me off my own pity pot. I even married myself. Yep, I had a full-blown ceremony. I invited 3 of my closest friends to a mountaintop in Colorado where I said my vows to myself. I happened to do this on the same day my ex-husband married his fitness instructor. There were bystanders in tears watching me make these vows to myself in this unusual commitment ceremony. The reception was held in a hot tub under the stars. My most important vow to myself was this: I alone am responsible for my happiness. I no longer look for outside affirmations as a barometer of my self-worth because I know that I am enough. And if I'm too much, go find someone else. Many of us were conditioned by our parents or societal messaging that we had to be a certain way. But with age, we can unlearn these damaging messages. We get to choose who we are and who we want to be. Identity is a porous concept. It can change. In fact, this lifelong Catholic found out through a DNA test gifted to me that I am, genetically speaking, half Ashkenazi Jew. I have never met a Julipina.
And if you ever meet anyone who's half Filipino and half Jewish, please contact me. I am open to learning until the day I die. I certainly do not have all the answers. But if I have lived a life true to my values and made this world a better place because I was here, that is enough. Thank you.